Hello, my name is Amar Elamari. I'm a freshman studying chemical biology, and I serve as the food subcommittee leader for the subcommittee of student life, and I'm running for VP of student life at USG.
Hello, I'm Arohi Banerjee. I'm from the class of 2027. I'm currently the Transportation and Public Safety Subcommittee Leader within Student Life, and I'm running for the Vice President of Student Life.
Hi, my name is Eli Rabinowitz. I'm a rising sophomore majoring in biochemistry and philosophy. I'm currently a freshman representative for the Undergraduate Student Government, but I'm running for VP of Student Life.
Well, I think that one thing that's really important to consider is the fact that there's so many different organizations on campus. But I think one thing that I really want to focus on is, especially now with new federal administration, things like that, there are a few things that are of concern, and because of that, I think one thing I really want to reach out to are there's an umbrella term, but more so cultural organizations, religious organizations, making sure that although there are new regulations and that are being put for that being for federal and things are being put. I think that one thing that we need to focus on are those cultural religious organizations, making sure that they understand that they still have a place and that we're still going to be able to find ways to still make sure that they're welcome on campus and that they can proceed with their with whatever events they want to do and things like that nature. So that's probably the biggest thing I want to focus on. So. Yeah.
So, as of right now, Student Life has been collaborating a lot with administrative organizations, and we've been having a lot of offices come in to our meetings, gaining insight on how they are engaging with the students and how we can better bridge that gap. But going forward, I would like to incorporate more student activities or student organizations within our meetings to gauge more of a student perspective on those, and perhaps maybe even have more town hall situations to bridge that gap between admin and students. And I kind of want to encompass a lot of various different organizations, such as RHA, because that affects a lot of students because they live on campus, a lot of umbrella organizations or cultural organizations under UDC or other USG organizations like that. And then definitely because of the current federal administrative state and the uncertainty in these times, I do also want to focus heavily on advocacy groups or any student organizations that provide resources for a variety of different students, such as maybe Planned Parenthood or Period or just any other organizations like that.
Gotcha. Great question. So I actually want to work with the Office of Multicultural Affairs. There are many problems right now ranging across our campus, a lot of divide between students and administration. The Office of Multicultural Affairs holds a diverse viewpoint on really all student problems. So working with them closely, which we have also this year, we had a representative come in and speak, has been it's been a great connection, and I want to continue doing that. I want to also foster a stronger relationship, specifically with RHA, UPB, and the Observer. A big role of Student Life is to cover a lot of student issues on campus. All of our organizations cover those issues. I mean, the Observer covers them literally over the newsletter. UPB does it in terms of what the students want to see on campus, in terms of events, and then RHA literally getting down, talking to people about how we want to hold certain events for housing. I want to work with them since the idea is we're trying to get to the students. So working with likewise organizations and fostering a relationship there is going to be very valuable.
Okay, so that's funny that you mentioned that because we actually do have a task force in student life in which we kind of focus on making sure that we're trying to bring up spirit, as that's something very important. That is something I've noticed as a freshman is not too common on campus. And so I believe from my understanding from my fellow peers who are in SL that are part of the task force, the biggest thing they're trying to focus on right now is merchandise, trying to get some more merchandise and different types as well. However, while that is something that is super important, I think something I'd like to change is to implement a program in which we have students could trade in their merchandise from other schools for something that's crew related. For example, the first thing I noticed on campus was everyone was wearing different schools, and while I do understand maybe they want to keep onto those clothes, maybe a solution to that so that they can be for example, we have Crew Fridays, and so we can actually switch out, we can trade in, do some sort of system like that. So I'd love to work with the marketing program to see if we can do some sort of implementation to have the opportunity for students to switch in so they don't have to lose money on the shirts and like merchandise from other schools that they bought, but have stuff from CRU that would be completely free or something of a very small charge. So that is something I'd really want to focus on moving forward. So yeah.
Of course. So actually, this semester, we recently initiated the student spirit task force, and Student Life is working along with that with the student affairs, especially with VP Apgar. And we have someone on our committee, Daniela, who is like spearheading that. But Daniela will be graduating soon, and so we kind of are focusing more on how we specifically can interact with student affairs to gauge how to best interact with the students. So the Bicentennial Bash, they took a lot of USG feedback and from Student Life on how to make that more engaging for campus, and that was a huge success. So we want to do more events that are focused on the students apart from like specifically just academics or sports, because although we are a very like sports heavy school, a lot of students don't feel incentivized to come and watch those sports. So maybe like other like groups or other like different activities that a lot of other students engage with, such as like music or concerts or even like stand-up comedians or things like that. So that's kind of our aim.
100%. So we are actually really engaged with this, which I will assure the general student body. We have an initiative called the Spirit Task Force, which has a couple different modes of how we're trying to improve things, whether it's like merch or certain events. It's a topic that I certainly want to bring up as vice president. Taking inspiration from other colleges. During COVID, a lot of people felt like there was a lot of dissonance between connection between like students and their spirit, and a big thing was turning certain days into like these bigger events. So whether or not it was like mental health Mondays or other sorts of events, I want to try and create a day that's tailored to the students, where we have artwork, for example, and certain like catering or like food services and music, where basically students get to like relax. I also think in general, like having larger communication with the administration and creating a committee with the marketing is a really big and important step. One of the big things that Celine, our current vice president, has done that I actually really respect is creating committees for these administrators. I want to create a committee that consists of the general student body, so not just USG, where we can actually connect the student body directly to the administration so they can voice their concerns, and that committee can then foster the grassroots for then a later, like a bigger cause of increasing like spirit on campus.
Well, to be frank with you, I'm going to be extremely transparent. All of these candidates are very qualified, and I've known both of them very personally. So I know I'd be rest assured that whoever does take this position would be extremely qualified and would be and that the program would be in very good hands. I think one thing that makes me stand out is that I was the food subcommittee chair within the organization. I believe I'm the only freshman within USG to have a position like that, and I think that I've had a lot of experience from that role to work with admin, talking with admin, running events. For example, the Ramadan boxes, in which I actually worked with other organizations on campus to actually implement their own perspectives, because I feel like there's only so much that we can say, but it's more important to hear from their perspective. And so one thing that I really want to focus on was what they want to see on campus. And so when a student mentioned last year with Ramadan boxes that they only implemented like Middle Eastern foods and stuff like that, me as a Muslim, I understand that there's other regions that practice Ramadan, and because of that I wanted to see other regions being represented, and so I reached out to other organizations. So I'd say like listening to the student body and having experience talking with administration.
Yeah. So for me, I've had a variety of positions within USG and within Student Life. I started off as just a CAS representative, and then I moved towards being Student Life secretary, and then I am now the Transportation and Public Safety subcommittee leader. And because of all these roles, I've interacted with a lot of different admin and also been able to interact with a lot of students. And I think also the fact that I am from the class of 2027, I am a sophomore, and I have a very interdisciplinary education. I'm both in the field of engineering and CAS, so I feel like I'm able to provide a wide variety of perspectives and bring that to student life. And also because of all the roles I've had and the experience I've had communicating with admin and also just like knowing how student life works, I think definitely helps. One thing I will say is that this year we saw a lot of interest in student life, specifically in USG. And so I think one thing I want to work on is definitely making sure that our new representatives feel supported and make sure that our initiatives are more efficient moving forward.
I mean, first off, I'll start by saying I've known Arohi and Amr now for a year. They are both very strong applicants, and I'm actually very happy that all three of us are running, because regardless of how this ends out, I'm very happy with where the Student Life Committee will stand. That being said, I do think I'm very strong with incorporating student voice into the general message. A big part about student life is to represent student voice. An even bigger part is to include them in the process. So one of my initiatives recently has been the meal plan, where basically we took students that have extreme dietary restrictions, felt that their requirement to stay 2 years in the meal plan and pay full meal plan tuition was not really quite fair to them. So I brought two voices to the Food Life Committee. We have a current thing that I'm planning for this next Student Life Committee this Friday, where I'm bringing 3 different admin departments. We currently have the visa department. I'm talking to the international affairs department, and also the housing office, to talk about the recent visa changes that have been sent out to international students. And I'm bringing there an international student from my own dorm to come and speak on the behalf of other international students. So including that voice is something that I think I'm quite good at, and I'm very confident in my ability to do so.
Well, I just want to say I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen and give me the platform to speak. I will want to say I do hope that you consider me for the position. I do put a lot of time into this organization because this is something I actually do care about. And while I say I am a freshman, I am very ambitious, and I'm a go-getter, to say the least. I think that I'd hope that you'd be confident in knowing that I will put in my foot forward and I will do everything that I can. Especially with new changes coming up, it's important that we stay together. And because of the fact transparency is going to be so important, and to be quite transparent with you, there are going to be some changes on campus, and because of that, it's more important than ever that we stick together. And I think that's something I'm going to really ensure happens next year for the student body. So thank you so much for your consideration.